Vegas lights shine bright, bad boys sitting pretty. Michael, Steve, Rob running things in Sin City. Podcast blazing truth, rhyming hard and witty. Three kings on the mic, Vegas life gets gritty. Matt Michaels dropping bombs, quick wit, no filter. Sin City's own, blending gold with the silver. Steve taking notes, every word's a thriller. Rob's on the tracks, beats cold like a chiller. Bad boys a podcast, raw truth they broadcast. Speaking facts so fast, haters coming dead last. Las Vegas legends, three amigos top class. Mic in hand, setting fire, never outclassed.
Hey everybody, Matt Michaels, Rob Bossoleri, Sin City Steve, and our own Rome Simon Street here on the Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. It has been a WrestleMania week to go down in the books. Polarizing, great for the city, wonderful for wrestling. Horrific for apparently a lot of touchy fans. Very good stuff. Let's start from where we are with the obvious, and that is the idea of John Cena pissing everyone off. I just love how everyone is pissed. And I'm going to throw down some very specific things in a little bit. All right. So, Steve and Rob, you were there. So, we'll get your perspective in a second. Rome, give me your perspective of watching it and what you thought, of the match, because you got to listen to commentary while it was going on. Anytime, Rome.
No, okay. No. Do a little bit of delay.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm not gonna lie. Initially, I was like, meh, little mid. However, after I let the emotion out of my breath in about 30 minutes and had a CBD gummy, I had a recollection that I'm an educated, versed wrestling fan, so maybe I should just think about what was the promo that John Cena said the minute he went, Dark Cena. And he said, you get nothing. And immediately reminded me of those times, when you're at home and you F up at the house and your parents are like, you know what? That is it. You don't get anything. And then you try after a couple hours or days and you're like, hey, Mom, can I watch TV? Is that okay? I've been good. She says, no, you still get nothing. And so that's what I realized John Cena is talking about. That's what we're going to have. Whatever we want, it's a hell no.
Yeah. Okay. So, Steve, Rob, you guys are in the stadium. What were your reactions seeing it happen live?
Oh, man. The live was good. People were popping. The hate for Cody Rhodes was sincere. They violently did not want this freaking guy to keep that title. So when that, attitude adjustment hits, great. When he's wrestling for the belt and then can't do it, can't connect, can't be a heel, can't take that easy way, which he deserved, people were like, great, we're happy to see you lose. Afterwards, it was the opposite. The opposite happened afterwards, where the audience went, this was fucking lame. The match was too short, and it was. It was 8:15 total the first night. Second night was seven hours and was it? It was 40. It was shorter. That's a problem. They had opportunity to add more content into that match, but what was done was the right thing to do. It was intelligent, but people didn't care about the art. It was like Kill Bill Volume 2. Where was all the violence of Kill Bill 1? We didn't get it. Where was The Rock? He should have come out. Why is Travis Scott here? Some of us don't understand the connection. Even though he showed up at Elimination Chamber, I don't get it why Travis Scott's helping him. That was a one-time thing. Why is he coming out a second time? What is he going to accomplish? And it was lost on people. It was too artsy. I get why they did it. It was John Cena's Black Album. Get it, but the fans were not sophisticated enough to appreciate it.
Hey, no need to get racist, Rob. I know half of you is.
I did not say his African American album. I didn't say John Cena could finally see the N-word after dressing like Eminem for 50 years. You know, I can say it now. They said I could.
All right,
I got a hall pass. No,
Steve, your thoughts.
So, I mean, realistically, we all knew what was going to happen, or at least, you know, the path that they were going to take. I think that we postulated, every one of us on this show said that John Cena should win this match. The fact is, yes, that happened, but it was how we got there. You know, Rob, you mentioned the match time. To put it into perspective, this match was 21 minutes, 40 seconds. More than, I would say, it being, you know, long or short. I think that it was just not a well-paced match. But the thing that really stands out, there were some overtones, and of course he was never advertised as being on the show or anything of that nature, but it's WrestleMania. You just assume that if you're going to see The Rock on a throwaway episode of SmackDown or, you know, something like that throughout the yearly WWE calendar, that you're going to see him at the biggest show of the year.
Okay.
Just a thought. And from the rumblings of people that I heard in the stands around me, we were on the floor, and a lot of people after the match were like, what the fuck? There was no Rock, blah, blah, blah. The legitimate words that were spoken from fans just kind of left wondering what next.
Right. Okay. So this is the beauty of the first thing. For a number of years, Steve has brought up a point that really bugged him, and that is WWE did not do long-term storytelling, right? Which is absolutely true. The WWE is now doing long-term storytelling. Here we go. And this is, if this happens, please know that it was said here first. And even some of these people are not even putting it out there, guys who have been around wrestling for a while, these so-called geniuses. We saw a couple things. The first thing we saw is that The Rock is the final boss. He is Emperor Palpatine. Okay? Palpatine, doesn't matter. He's the fucking final boss. Right. Exactly. Roke, doesn't matter. It's the final fucking boss. He doesn't need to be there. Okay? Number two, it was John Cena's moment. It was his WrestleMania, right? This is his final one. So therefore, he doesn't need to be there. But number two, John Cena has famously been, shall we say, hated by people in the locker room, right? That floating around of John and he was self-centered and et cetera, you know, all that stuff. That's something that plays into the fact of why would anyone in the locker room come out and help him? Right? Why? Why would anyone help him? But the final boss sent his guy. And all that guy was a simple distraction, right? It was also a chance for Cody to get a payback for getting fucking potatoed. And they brought it up and announced, okay? But that set up the moment. The moment of John having that belt, Cody grabbing the belt. What did Cody do? John did this. The praying, don't hit me, please don't hit me. Like Ric fucking Flair. The guy he's about to surpass. The guy that Cody's daddy wrestled many a times. And Cody did one thing, what his daddy would do. The right thing. And he said, no, I'm not going to do it. Cena kicked him in the nuts, hit him with the belt, and won the title. Now, fans have been booing Cody, right? John comes off of the stage, goes to the interview, and basically is now this new character, the last real champion. He's going to ruin wrestling for everyone. The next 8 months, we're going to see this character who's going to wrestle different guys. Great. Cody, in the back of his mind, did I make the right decision? He's going to have to live with this shit, right? And what we're getting to is the fact that John Cena, this whole thing was about Cena going, you fans never respected me. You fans, I gave you everything, right? But as he comes closer to saying goodbye, now he's getting emotional. Now the fans are getting to him. And those cheers and applause and thank you are playing into that final bow. And now the young upstart, Cody, who's been doing everything right, been for the fans, etc., gets that opportunity one last time. He is going to wrestle John's final match. And in that final match, John is thinking with his heart. Cody is thinking, fuck these people. Fuck all this. And he kicks him in the nuts. And he hits him with the belt. And he pins him. And he finally says the next night that John Cena was right all along. You fans, I did everything for you, but you fucking stood there and you booed me for the last year. He's right. But John got sentimental. He fucking fell for this shit, right? He played into your crap, but I'm not anymore. In fact, I did what my daddy would have done. And that's the reason he was never a champion. Because Dusty Rhodes listened to all you people. Me, I'm not taking it. And all along, the Emperor has now used Cena to turn Anakin into Darth Vader. You have your top heel going into WrestleMania. Don't give me that bullshit, Rob, because that's how you do a heel turn.
Wait a minute. This is what I'll say. That is excellent writing. You're not wrong. That's a compelling story. You're not wrong. The problem is that Cody Rhodes is dense. He's a dense son of a bitch, and he does not fucking learn. Now, if the final boss, Dwayne Johnson, says to him, it's time to switch it up. If you want to hold the belt one more time, you're going to play the game the way we're writing it. That's different.
He doesn't have to say it. He has the action. It's the action, Rob. He has to hit him in the nuts, hit him with the belt, and then that's when The Rock's music hits, and you finally understand that this whole thing was the transformation, Rob. That's
I disagree.
I
don't disagree that it would be the best course of action, what would be best for business, and a great final arc and completion for the Cody Rhodes character. But I knew that it would not go down that way ever in your lifetime or mine when Arn Anderson took all of his shirts and ties and suits and all that crap and threw them in a bucket and said, burn them. You're not learning. And he still went back to that same stale character. It's his safe zone.
But that was in a place they don't do that.
I understand, but he's not going to do it. I don't believe that he'll do it. In the same way that hold on, wait a minute. In the same way that you swore to me that Bianca Belair on 3 separate occasions was going to have her heel turn, and it never happened. And I told you it was never going to happen. And you're like, no, Rob, it's going to happen. I know that's not. Wait a minute. You said she was a heel. She said she was a heel when she walked out during the Io Sky and Rhea match. Nope, she's not a heel. She's just coming out to survey the area. She wasn't a heel then. Then you said, oh, she's going to be a heel, and it's going to be determined that Naomi's going to call her out. Nope, she wasn't a heel then. Then the Naomi match. Nope, she wasn't a heel then. Then the 4th time, the triple threat, and she still wasn't a heel.
And guess
So what I'm saying is
we
now
still haven't got to the full arc of
now
the story either yet of that. See,
we
again,
and she
we're,
might,
we're
but
still going, well, this hasn't happened. This hasn't happened. This
but
hasn't
you told
happened.
me it was going to happen those
Everyone-
times.
I'm still saying that eventually it will be revealed that Jade and Bianca is happening.
Eventually,
at
the
some
sun
point.
will set. I don't doubt it. But with Cody Rhodes is the guy who's got to go, wait a minute. Do I want to do it the Denzel Washington way and get my award for being crooked? And now he'll say, I didn't need to
Jerome, go
because
ahead.
I already got there. I got there
Jerome,
without
go ahead.
doing it.
Jerome, go ahead. Talk over him.
So real quick, I'm going to try my best to fit a quick per quo in a short amount of time to answer what both of y'all are saying, because it's fantastic stuff. First and foremost, let me go a little dark Star Wars for you. Okay. Darth Sidious is who we will call Palpatine. Palpatine was a front. Darth Sidious only used what was already in the heart of Anakin Skywalker, of losing everyone that he loved and could not save him, from his mother, who was killed by the Sand People. Thus, for why he killed his wife, who was pregnant. Now, besides all that, long storytelling that's going to be with John Cena is very much, I believe, in that vein. And it's interesting because we're also seeing another storyline kind of similar to that with Karrion Kross and AJ Styles talking about do what's best for business. So you're seeing that trope. You're also seeing similar with Seth Rollins saying, hey, CM Punk is the cancer. He is the reason why. Roman Reigns, we put in all this hard work. We've been the pillar that's held up WWE through the COVID era, which they mentioned many a times in the announce team. So you're seeing these small nuggets. What I smell here is a little bit of a revolution. And with regards to Bianca Belair, they are waiting for that, because let me tell you, other than the fact that she likes to skip down that ring post, that woman has heel heat, pun intended. Because I will tell you right now, Bianca is way more capable of being able. You think Naomi turning angry girl left out of the bunch of the Powerpuff Girls was groundbreaking? You ain't seen nothing without Bianca Belair. Let me tell you right now, there's a mean streak in her that's gonna be crazy. So hopefully I did a good job of kind of mentioning both of those. Keep on, guys. I keep on. This is entertaining for me.
So, Steve, why does this all turn out to be Vince McMahon pulling the strings, and it was revealed that he was the higher power all along?
So, you know what's funny as shit is, not to totally derail the entire conversation, but at night too, I swear when Stephanie was up in front of everything talking about family and all this, in the back of my mind, that was the first thing that I thought. I was like, oh shit, she's going to talk about burying the hatchet and bring out fucking Vince. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But I swear to God, I was in a mindset, I could so see that shit happening.
You missed me.
And of course, you'd have fucking 50,000 idiots that would go ape shit for him. But no, like as far
I
as
now
story,
own TKO and AAA. Those Mexicans work for me.
You know what's kind of funny too is even with Triple H saying at the Hall of Fame, hey, it's my kid's grandfather. It's complicated.
Yeah.
Like for me, that echoed in my head, other than trying to stay up for it, because in a way it is. Like we've always known the family's still tight. Yeah, he's not there publicly all the time, but they're very much still tight.
Yeah.
So just saying, it's interesting.
Yeah, I think that the whole Cena heel turn, it's going to be very interesting, because if we did learn anything, it's that they can do long-term storytelling. And a great example is the Bloodline, with everything, all the twists and turns and everything that took the audience on. Some of it good, some of it not so good. But they've proven that they can actually stick to long-term storytelling when they want to. So I'm along for the ride on this. Like you said, Matt, there's 8 months ahead of us. And it's going to be really interesting to see what happens once we get, past summer into the fall. And if John Cena still has that championship, what does that exit strategy start to look like? I think that, as you mentioned, Cody should be the one to eventually take the title from him and subsequently turn heel. But what are we going to do on the way to getting there? I think this is going to be the most fun.
Right, exactly. And the other thing too, this is something that I thought about in terms of Cody's got to go heel because he's main event at WrestleMania now consecutively 3 times, 4 times, whatever it's been. He's going to get it next year. He's going to be heel going in with that belt, and it's going to be one of 2 guys. CM Punk, who's never won the main event, and to have that championship would be huge over that heel Cody. That'd be a great match. But B, the 3rd time, Roman now is the face. Cody is now the heel.
I got to agree with you on that one. All right, I thought about it too. I think about it too. Happen. And if I may add to that, if it's okay, the way Roman kind of had the promos before the match, talking about, hey, a year ago, I was here, I was on top of the mountain. And then him kind of walking out, and they kind of alluded to it in post kind of segments, even though he wouldn't stay for an interview, of talking about, now he's walking up the ramp alone, totally alone. So that island of relevancy that he always talks about, he's the tribal chief of himself to a certain extent. I do appreciate WWE kind of allowing that to die in a way, not totally dead. There's still a bloodline, I believe, but they're letting it go to a different area, more personalized with Roman, which I greatly appreciate, because as him, there's been a huge story that we followed from the time we hated him, or at least I notably hated him, to the time of him actually doing what he needs to do. So I think it would be really good.
And
Matt, exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, and don't forget too, if Cody denounces his family, now he's got no family. He's, the whole thing was Cody doing it for Dad, and now he's doing it for himself. And Roman now is not doing it for the bloodline. He's doing it on his own for himself. And again, this is, Rock Austin Part 3. This is the 3rd. This is the last time we see it. This is Taker Hunter Part 3. And again, good storytelling. We all, in entertainment comes in 3s. And that would be the final time that those guys would touch gloves. All right. So that's Cena and Cody and the main event. But since we talked about Roman, everyone is probably in a universal agreement that that triple threat match, the storytelling in that, the build-up, the fact that we go 13 years back to the fact that they were brought in to be the Shield for Punk, and then that Heyman betrayal, and just brilliant. And you got to give it up for Seth as being one of the best performers on the fucking planet. Dude. I mean, again, Steve, you were there. Rob, you were there. What was that like in terms of that feeling in that building when that happened?
It's great to say this. Me as a lapsed WWE viewer coming back in, and I was able to spot exactly what they were going to do 2 months in advance. It was great. And I mean that in the best way possible. They didn't overcomplicate things. They had the 2 turns, because realistically that's what it was. You had 2 turns by Heyman in that main event, but at the end of the day, that was needed. Both of those were needed for visual purposes. But yeah, the crowd, you could feel the crowd kind of bristling, and that is one of the really cool things about going to one of these types of shows live, is when you have these moments, you can actually feel the air around you, and to be there, and to not just watch it or anything of that nature, but to actually experience it and feel the emotion of the crowd. That was great. That was expertly done. Everybody played their parts perfectly in that match, and the right result was achieved. Night 1 ended extremely, extremely well. The rest of night 1 we'll talk about, I'm sure, but yeah, that was a great way to end night 1, and it also spirals things off into completely different directions for all 3 guys. So that is exactly what you want to do with a main event match like that. Seth has his path, Roman has his path, Punk has his path, and nobody's left kind of floating in the abyss.
Rob.
You know, this was
obviously there was no abyss, so we know that.
My name is Joseph Parks, and I'm here to represent AJ Styles. If anyone remembers that, and that was the same day we saw Adam Pearce. They just had him do a break apart with everyone fighting amongst each other, and I went, "Who is this guy?" They're just okay. We're just throwing some guy in. Okay. We all saw it coming. We knew that that was the only result that you could have. There wasn't a huge. There was a pop, but there wasn't a gasp of shock. When the chair got passed around, we all went, golf clap. Good job. Good job. Yes. There was a bigger pop for Joe Henry coming out, but this was executed as well as it could be. The smile on Roman Reigns' face from ear to ear. Beautiful. Paul Heyman really hamming it up with the nut shot. And the crowd is going, yes, holy shit, yes, okay, good. The point when everyone is really happy, and it was more quiet from my perspective, it wasn't people screaming their head off. It was more just like you could see everybody around you was just genuinely happy, was when Paul Heyman's just sitting on his ass in the ring, and it's just a far gone conclusion. I was like, this is perfect. Everyone's just sitting there going, this is great. This is absolutely great. And then, then the explosion of energy afterwards. But you saw it coming a mile away, and we were happy with that. That's the one thing I'll take away from WrestleMania. A lot of these results, you saw them a mile away, didn't diminish the excitement at all. So very good.
Rob, quickly, your thoughts on how that match played out?
I think it went exceedingly well. Very much in the same sentiment of, you played it as well as it was. And I think all of us, without a stroke of genius, we all kind of knew it had to be Seth. It just had to be. And again, kudos to the writing, creative direction of making it fit well. Even though we knew, it still was excellently executed. The one thing I will add before we move on with whatever we're doing next is with that one, I like, again, long-term story.
Right.
Seth has been going on in Elysium for probably since Punk came back, and even before Punk coming back, before we knew he was even confirmed to come back. He would say it all the time. So, you're going to cheer for this guy that left. He doesn't care about you. And again, taking those small nuggets like a pearl in a necklace and piecing it together, pearl by pearl by pearl, until you have the complete necklace of beauty. And that's, that's all I can say.
Okay. So really, at this point, thoughts on other matches. We're going to kind of keep it brief, keep it moving. So, Steve, you kind of said night one, give me your take on everything else that you want to quickly touch upon what your thoughts were.
So the night got started extremely well with Jey Uso winning the World Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship. That was exactly what we said needed to happen. The crowd was intense. When things looked like they were going in a particular way, and then as that match reached its climax, you could feel the crowd just roaring with that. A couple of things, just call it what you will. The New Day War Raiders match, that was let's be real. You could have had that as a main event of a Raw, and it would have been fine.
Sure.
Not talking shit about any of the guys involved in that match, but it just didn't feel like a WrestleMania match. The Jade Cargill and Naomi match, I thought, exceeded every single possibility that I had in mind for that match. I didn't go into it with a ton of expectations, but they surpassed what expectations I did have. So I thoroughly think that Naomi is extremely underrated in ring as well.
Sure.
With what you what she was able to do with Jade, who is still green, and get a very good match out of her was expertly done. And then the Tiffany Stratton Charlotte Flair match, they worked a lot better together than a lot of us assumed. So I think that can be pretty much labeled as that they ended up working us. So great job by both women in that match. The right outcomes happened on every single match on this show. That was something that one of my major takeaways from both nights is the right people won in every single match. I called Bianca walking out with the women's championship in the three-way. That didn't happen, but night one especially, every single person and every single winner was correct.
Yeah. And Rob, night two.
Night two. Say his name and he appears. I believe I've got no vocal cords. That was oh my God. Everybody that I was sitting with and everybody wanted it to be Nick Aldis. We had this conversation. They wanted it. When this guy comes out, the pop is incredible. It was a fun match. Everyone's happy. No losers in that match. The Logan Paul match. Didn't give a shit. Yes, Logan Paul can wrestle. Didn't give a shit. It was more of AJ Styles not tapping into him, to who he could be, and the fact that he could have easily had won that. Great interaction with Karrion Kross. That's going to be the feud. Can't wait. Karrion Kross can do great work. More to come from him. I'm anticipating that. So good laying the ground.
He actually just went viral for a post-match promo that he cut, which was fucking great. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend seeking it out on any of the WWE socials. It's all over the place right now, and please tap into that more. WWE.
He's a talker. And
hold on. He also ended it by saying "killer."
Yes,
he did not say Karrion, and if that means what it means, I'm over the moon with it.
Oh,
let's go.
So we get to see the assassin character. That would be that we saw in TNA where he comes out bald with the trench coat. Oh my God.
I like his hair. He has good hair. I'm gonna miss his hair. I gotta be honest.
Whatever. Who cares? Let's not focus on wardrobe and hair. What are you fucking girls talking about? Okay. Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Scarlett was pissed in the interview, and he was pissed. That's the key. Yep. He told the guy in the truck in the tie to go fuck himself. He said, "Fuck you." He told that this is shit. He told that being a company guy and doing what you're told and getting the fucking Bane mask and all that shit is bullshit. He went into the truth. This is what Cross does. This is why he's brilliant. This is why Hunter loves him. This is why he's still around and wasn't released.
Now let's see him on Raw and let's see him tear it up with AJ Styles and then go beyond AJ Styles, because he should go beyond AJ Styles. He's more than has the ability. I'm trying to redraw night two, because night two really was about the Cena match.
Io Sky was.
I was gonna say that.
The triple threat match. She deserves to win. She deserves to win. She has the ability. Thank you for starting my brain. It really was what you wanted to be. The two strong women ignoring her at their peril. They never gave her the time of day, and she hit spot after spot after spot.
And in the post conference, she comes in and literally says something to the extent of, "I'm still champion," and then she leaves because they didn't want to give her any questions or anything. It was fucking great. That was awesome. Dominic Mysterio is now the fucking champion, the Intercontinental champion,
and he gets it off the back of his brother in the Judgment Day. You could not have had a better way to win it than get it off Finn Balor.
And according to Dom, 30 minutes having the title in, he is one of the greatest Intercontinental champions of all time, which is fucking brilliant. This guy is amazing. I love the man. Becky Lynch coming back. This is purely to elevate Lyra. This is 100%. A great move. Great move.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
And gives again. I think we're going to see Bailey now find a partner, and Bailey's going to take a younger person, turn heel, take a younger kid, elevate her a little bit. So we're going to have a double elevation by two of the best in the business. Fucking smart if they do that. Does this end Judgment Day now? That's a great question. I honestly, my feeling is Dom's been talking about it for like a month. They
And
need
the
a
new
new
member.
member. I think Dom takes over Judgment Day. Finn's out, and this is Dom's Judgment Day, which is
And then he gets to hire the other person that he wanted. I want to bring somebody in.
right.
Mm-hmm.
He can do it now.
Well, we might see that tonight at Raw, which
He's got the gold.
Steve and Rob are going to be at Raw tonight, so it's going to be interesting with Judgment Day.
They already told me what I'm going to be eating tonight, so it's like $1,000 to spend. It's going to be insane. I'm not even going to be watching.
Eat the lobster tail nachos.
There you go.
Oh Jesus! Oh man!
Just don't eat the nacho tails because they naturally
Ooh.
taste. Don't be eating them. Yeah,
Just suck on them.
It was like the raunchiest white dad joke ever. Like you're just like, I need to make a dad joke.
It was the extra look that he put with it, kind of like extra selling it, like that creepy uncle does sometimes.
Okay. Kind of push through Romania a little bit. The next, because we want to get to
Tits and ass.
We want to get to tits and ass, of course. So let's talk a little bit about Stand and Deliver, which I was at, and boy, there was a lot of tits and ass because Ava came out at the beginning during the pre-show and said something that didn't even register in my mind until it was like, oh fuck yeah. So between the pre-show match, which was the 4 tag teams, right? That was 8 women. You had the ladder match with 6, and you had a main event women's match that had 4. 18 women appeared on the show, which was more than the men on the show. Fucking phenomenal. That's how good that is. Let's see. Could Bailey bring Roxanne? Ooh, that's a great call since they've been squabbling. And Roxanne, it's her time to go up. Roxanne pretty much just walked out on Cora. Great call. That might be where that's headed. That's fucking amazing. Stand and Deliver, the energy in that building was amazing. Ricky Saints. Oh man. The crowd, when they started chanting "Thank you, Tony," it was amazing because you want to talk about missed opportunities. And again, not the fact that those guys weren't good in AEW, right? They were just misutilized. You had guys, who got raised and then they disappeared. And now we're seeing what that equals. All right.
Now you just need to get Athena into NXT or Ember Moon.
I don't know. But the one thing I didn't need to see is her lose to Monet.
Yeah.
Let's go. The first time she's on the fucking big stage, has a great match and loses to that egotistical piece of shit. Okay, cool. I'm cool. I'm not mad.
If I may, one good match that I liked was what about the NXT Women's North American Championship ladder match? I thought that was pretty well utilized using the ladder. I thought it was great. It was obviously Soul Rico won, which was who I wanted to win. So that's going to be really good.
WWE Universe had a poll. Soul was the person that they wanted to win, and she won. It was great, and it was also good storytelling. Her and Zarya, exchanged fists. That was great. Kalani Jordan, who no one wanted to win in that building, did some remarkable stuff. She was talented as fuck, and she did the job that she needed to do. Izzy Dane showed up, and Thea showed up. It was just everyone involved in that match. It was a great energy, a great use of the ladders. The main event was spectacular. Javon Evans is a fucking future star. Obafemi, boy, I hope NXT gets a chance to bring in AJ Francis to go against Oba. That will step up Oba a little bit by putting him against a real talker and a guy who can do some incredible in-ring shit. And I'll definitely say, being there, the best match I think of the whole fucking week was Fraxium versus Hank and Tank.
Yes.
Now, I had guys sitting behind me going, man, the Performance Center, they hate Hank and Tank. They fucking hate these guys. Blah, 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 blah. Fraxium made those guys instant fucking stars.
Yeah.
That's how good Nathan Frazier and Axiom are. It's ridiculous. I have to say that they've become probably my favorite tag team, period. Maybe all time. Because they're that fucking good. And you rarely have a tag team that the dynamic is, we don't really trust each other or like each other, but we're on the same page and we deliver. It's just a weird dynamic to use to make these guys where they are. When they go up, which it looks like that's the next step, it's going to be fucking amazing. So these guys are going to elevate, and that match, I'm telling you, the near falls on that was just that whole crowd. Yeah, that whole crowd. It was just unbelievable. And then the perfect storytelling in a match. So
well, they even talked about them learning, if I may, Hank and Tank, how they've learned some lessons, and that's something that they talked about, NXT after NXT, on Tuesdays, just saying, hey, we've learned some things, and to see it play out like that, really, if you are behind Hank and Tank, you want to see that. You want to see them get paid their dues.
Yeah. So, Stand delivered on that aspect. All right.
But I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about TNA.
Well, I was just
the tits and ass. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
The tits and ass was because we called it back in the day.
Right now, Rob and Steve were at TNA with myself, and again, talking about delivering, TNA fucking delivered one hell of a show. Now I know, Steve, you are a fan of. If y'all don't know Steve will weekly text me and say, you know what we need this week from any show is a good Japanese barbed wire death match. Just every week. It's like, Steve, I think you had a little emotional issue here.
Bionic Scoop was there too.
Hey man, I'm a sicko. What can I say? Yeah,
Scoop was there right next to Steve. Yeah, and I'm sure, Scoop, that Steve was saying to you, boy, if they do this every week, I don't care what company, this would be just.
If we staple a guy's tongue to a door every week and then smack it off with a steel chair,
of course.
Oh,
Lord of mercy.
Steve, did you catch part of that tongue when it flew out into the crowd?
I reached for it, but I just barely missed it. Chalk it up to me being uncoordinated. But no, TNA definitely delivered. The Steve Macklin, Ace Austin, Eddie Edwards match, outside of the barbed wire chicanery and all of the gimmicks involved with that match. That was my match of the night. Macklin, Austin, and Edwards all looked very good.
And it's funny you say that, because my match of the night was AJ, Young, and Macklin.
Yeah.
So I think we're on the same page of what was going on. And Rob, I don't know what you're showing. Is that a dick pic?
Yeah. Well, are you calling Steve Macklin a dick? Because that's what's a pic of.
Oh, is that you and Steve Macklin?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's don't worry. Next week we'll actually show it when I get stuff up. But I think you're right. I think that we saw Macklin worked his ass off.
Yeah, Macklin killed it during that show. He was definitely the MVP of that show for sure. Talking
to AJ fucking was. I mean, it gave me goosebumps listening to when I was talking to him about it. To do that double slam and then to do the moonsault, right? Oh my god!
Mm.
Best big man in the business.
But I also enjoyed
literally
from
biased.
storytelling, because now they have to figure out where to go from here, that the system lost across the board.
True.
The system lost across the board.
Except for the fact that Moose won, Rob. So
I forgot about that one. I was thinking about shit. That's when I went to go get concessions. I missed that part. Oh well. Oh yeah, I did miss. Oh yeah, it was like a squash match.
yeah, against fucking Reggie.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. That's
Fucking
that's
Sydney
why I
Akeem.
forgot about that one because I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And that's why I completely put it out of my mind because it wasn't a real match.
Believe it or not, though, that match was 9 fucking minutes.
It was.
It was 9 minutes of Sydney Akeem just getting his ass kicked.
Well, and he did some, again, Sydney Akeem can really fucking.
Oh yeah, he can fucking work.
So I mean, he did some stuff, but at the same time, it was definitely a Moose squasher.
Yeah, I was talking about the Eddie Edwards, the JDC. That was the stuff I was talking about. I completely put that match out of my mind because, is this just like a go take a shit match? I think it is.
Yeah. The barbed wire match was probably one of the most brutal things I've ever seen in person.
Yeah, there was a lot of barbed wire this weekend. There was like almost the very first spot in the match. Mance Warner comes up and his arm is just bleeding that black blood, and it's just deep. Like the cut is just huge. It's a gash. Midway through the match, actually toward the end, they actually had to have the medical staff come out and bandage him up mid-match. Just because he was losing so much fucking blood.
And then Sammy, in his warped mind, goes and puts the lemon juice inside of that fucking bandage, which I'm sure Mance was like, you motherfucker.
And don't forget the salt in the wound when he was trying to spray. And then he gets hit with the salt.
Yeah.
The You Sick Fuck chance. Again, that was one of my favorite shows of the week. I even like that match better than the WrestleMania matches because it was a guilty pleasure. It was it was exactly what you want. It was like backyard wrestling insanity.
Yeah, I thought it should have been the last match.
Yes, I agree completely.
It overshadowed the show. It stole the show in a bad way.
Yeah,
and that's violence, right? Right. I've said the same thing about AEW. Why didn't end the show a couple weeks ago with either Mariah's match or the cage match was beyond me. And that's because Bloodthirst, after Bloodthirst, fans are done, man. Yeah. And some of the, right. And you see other fans had to get to other shows. So, you lost crowd in that. The whole thing was great. It shows again, TNA is on the right track. And this coming weekend in LA, Joe is hurt, it's legit. His rotator cuff is hurt. So there's a possibility that being it's LA, we can see Frankie win the title in his home city, which would be very appropriate. Or we could very well see, since they had it on WrestleMania, Ethan Page become the TNA champion and bring it to NXT. Rome, this is where we can have you chime in. Do we see NXT, have a TNA champion for a little bit?
I think it's good for business. 120%. I think it's good for business. And I think Ethan Page is the guy to do it because if you think about it, for me personally, he's someone that can straddle that line, both TNA and NXT, and almost to where it's seamless. Like the guy's brilliant. Yes, let's do it. Let's call somebody. Somebody watch the podcast. Make it happen.
I'll call the president, who I now know of TNA, and ask him. Okay, so just for American Bam Bam, we're going to restart and let's go over. Okay, so let's start on WrestleMania Night 2. He thought it was shitty, so let's start with Cena and Cody, guys. What do you think about? Okay.
You get nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Unfortunately, you're going to have to go back and watch the first half, but we do appreciate that you had to work, so we get it.